Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the intro, and thank you everyone for taking the time to be present. And my job really is to set up the intro for Ryan and let him do his thing. But I did want to give you a little bit of context as to the history behind this particular study. So it started as a conversation a year ago between, I believe it was Stefan, perhaps Matthias, and Jeff. And that time, Snap as a platform, we are known for connecting with friends and family. It's a close network, but organically, a lot of creators were growing on the platform. And unlike TikTok and Instagram, we're really not monetized creators. So we were kind of like running at the back, trying to figure out, oh my God, this business is growing. What do I tell my advertisers so they kind of understand how creators work? And how you can monetize it on the platform. So that was really like the genesis or germ of the idea. And then we met the team at ARF last year. So it's very serendipitous in terms of timing that we are here to present, something that came out of a conversation a year ago. If we move to the next slide. So really what we want to share with you today is the findings. So most of the work we do is meant for public consumption or thought leadership, and really is to convince advertisers why they should be spending on Snap. But we also like to take a step back and understand the industry more broadly. So we'll take you a little bit through about the creator opportunity, and hopefully you walk away understanding how creators work on various platforms. If you move to the next slide, please. So this is based on eMarketer and looks at total spending on creators. And you can see that it is growing, over the last few years, and it's estimated that it'll continue to grow, approaching almost $9 billion of marketing spend in 2025. So creators on their own are starting to become a separate media channel. And as I mentioned before, they were growing more organically on Snap. So we want to understand why and how. The other thing, again, not our research, but what industry kind of revealed was that a lot of people were starting to buy things that creators spoke about. I'm sure if I ask you, have you bought anything off TikTok, off Instagram, off Snap? Hands might go up. And it could be, and it could be an ad, but most often it's because somebody's done an unboxing or spoken about a product or shown them using it, and you're like, I wouldn't mind. Let me have a look. And that's why more than half of US shoppers have been influenced. And that the number on the other side was a bit surprising for us, that such a huge majority of Snapchatters said that they've been influenced by creators to buy a product. Which kind of, led us to some research questions on, I think there's a lot of understanding within the industry that creators would drive brand awareness. So if somebody is online, somebody you're following, could be a niche, could be like a huge celebrity, they talk about a certain brand, obviously you'd become aware of them, you know what they are, but do they really influence lower funnel outcomes? Because that's what the industry is heading. Does it influence them adding to search or clicking on a product to buy? But apart from lower funnel, do they also influence how people think about a brand, not just know a brand? And what are the expectation of consumers? Like, yes, I've proven that creators work, but so what? As an advertiser, what is it that you're supposed to do? And obviously, I work for Snap, so does Ryan. So we want to understand how creators perform on Snap versus other platforms. So today we're going to focus on the US, seeing that as we are in New York, but this was a global study across 5 markets, which was super interesting in terms of how the creator economy is so advanced in Saudi Arabia versus other markets. But we decided to do a quantitative in-context study over 5,000 consumers. I still remember Stefan Matthias drawing the design in our meeting a year ago. And we wanted to understand whether attention is being paid to the ads and whether that lower funnel outcome through an e-commerce exercise, did actually occur. And we also had a bunch of questions on their perceptions and expectations from creators. Now, I'm sure you all know iSquare's in-context offer. But in our case, we looked at both, Snap has 5 tabs. So we looked at both stories where most of the creator content lived, as well as Spotlight, which is very feed-like. We also assessed creators on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, 3 platforms which are considered huge in terms of creators in similar video content, which is mostly in feed. And this was pretty cool. I think this was the first time that we have done this kind of study and with iSquare, where typically you'll stop here, right? You'll kind of expose people to ads, you'll understand how ads are performing, and then you draw your conclusions. But because we were so challenged to prove that creators impact lower funnel, we followed it up with a in-context shopping exercise. And it was interesting that the context kind of changed for each market. In the US, it was Amazon. And we were able to check if people search for the product, they clicked on the page and they actually added it to cart. So we have very strong findings of not just upper funnel, but also lower funnel. And then we asked some questions to assess impact on mid funnel. And I think I've set that enough up for Ryan.
You did. You did a great job.
So he's going to take you through the findings. You can grill him about the findings while I sit on the side and enjoy.
You definitely don't have to grill me, but if you do, Stefan is here. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to start just by talking about the key takeaways, give a little bit of the lay of the land of what I'll talk about, and then we'll dive into the actual results. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is how creators help drive outcomes across the funnel. And we want to specifically focus on the behavioral shopping results that we saw, which was really exciting to see. Then we're going to also look at how creators in the mix help a brand's image. So we were seeing an interesting finding where creators have a halo effect on the brand and help them come off as more trustworthy, which was also really exciting to see. And then, of course, we're giving all this great information on creators. We want to give brands information on how exactly they can activate. So we have some best practices in there. We'll talk about authenticity and entertainment value. And then last, but certainly not least, we are Snapchat. So we definitely have to talk about that. Going to talk about Snapchat superpower, how creators are coming off as likable and feeling like friends on our platform. Okay, so we'll start where all great marketing stories start first, which is the top of the funnel. So we first wanted to get a foundation of how people were feeling about creators. So with the survey that we included in this study, we just asked them how relevant a creator's opinion was throughout the funnel. And we were seeing, not surprising, that in the awareness phase, creators are relevant to consumers. Now, we also wanted to look at what attention people were paying to creators' ads as well, and whether or not there was a difference in the attention paid to creators' ads versus just standard branding ads. So with the in-context portion of our study, we were able to do this. And we were seeing that creator ads were getting more attention than standard branding ads. So people are definitely a little bit more leaned into creators, and that's probably because there's that human element. People are feeling more connected and just more leaned into what's going on with the creators. Also, as part of our study, we included a brand lift portion. So after people were exposed to different ad sequences, they were then given these standard brand lift metrics like recall, brand awareness, and aided brand awareness. And we were seeing that compared to the control group, people who were exposed to a creator ad followed by a standard branding ad were driving lift in ad recall, brand awareness, or unaided brand awareness, and aided brand awareness. So this was really exciting to see. For the upper funnel, creators are helping to drive those metrics. I don't think this is super surprising. I think we all know in this room that creators do have that kind of helping hand when it comes to awareness in driving these metrics, but great to see with the study. All right, so next we're going to get into the mid and lower funnel. So do people in the room think that creators help drive actual behavioral outcomes? Yes, there is a reason why Aarti and I are here today. Because I don't think I would be if the answer was no. Okay, so same thing here. We wanted to set the foundation, just get an understanding from our survey. Are people saying that creators' opinions are relevant through the consideration and purchase phases? Yes. Now, this is probably the most exciting slide, the reason why we're here. Everybody at Snapchat loves this. So this is where we're looking at the actual behavioral results with that shopping exercise that I already talked about after people were exposed. They then went to that simulated Amazon shopping experience and were able to browse around and add different products to their cart. So we were seeing that compared to the control group, when people were exposed to a creator ad followed by a product ad, they were then going to look at the product details page of whatever the product was, and they were adding it to their cart, triggering that brand purchase. So this was really exciting to see. We were seeing this across the industry, and then it was also evident on Snapchat. Exciting for me to say. So yeah, again, this is really a differentiator when it came to this study for us. So shout out iSquare for the technology. Woo. Woo. And a hypothesis that we had as to why this might have been happening is we were seeing that when people were exposed to a creator's ad, again, followed by a product ad, in the survey that we were giving them afterwards, the brand was their first choice among a competitive set. So this is really exciting to see too. Not only are we getting those behavioral metrics, but that people are saying among the competitive set, this is my top choice. All right, so now that we went through the funnel, we're going to talk about how creators can help boost a brand's reputation. All right, so this is another exciting slide. So this might be my second favorite one. All right, so we looked at when people were exposed to a creator ad followed by a product ad versus when they were exposed to a product ad followed by another product ad. So what exactly is the impact of including creators on a brand? And we were seeing that when creators were included, people were saying that they were more interested in the products that the brand had to offer. They were trusting the brand more, and the brand was coming off as more innovative, cheerful, and electrifying compared to when just product ads were being shown. So this is that halo effect that I was talking about at the beginning. When creators are included in the mix, it is helping benefit the brand beyond just the outcomes that we talked about before. And I'm going to talk about Snapchat because, of course. So when we looked at, again, the creator ad to product ad sequence on Snapchat versus the other platforms, we were seeing that the creators were more beneficial on Snapchat than the other platforms. So on Snapchat, people were saying that they were prideful to own whatever the brand was that we were testing, that the brand understood consumers' needs, and that they were interested in the products that the brand had to offer. So yeah, if you know anyone looking to run creators ads, do it on Snapchat. And we were also seeing too that the same ad sequence for Snapchat was helping drive brand favorability. And again, they wanted to know more about the range of products. And I'm going to double down on the Snapchat part as well too. So now we're going to talk about Snapchat superpower when it comes to creators and what we were seeing in this study with likability and connection and authenticity. So after people were exposed to the different ad sequences and the creator content, we then showed them the creators that they saw, and we asked them different questions about the creator, so how they felt about them, different attributes. And we were seeing that the creators on Snapchat were coming off as more likable, more genuine, reliable, and they were also feeling more like a friend. This was really exciting and interesting for us to see because we know from previous research that people are using Snapchat to connect with their friends, to connect with their family. It really is a platform that's driving that connection among friends and family. And this is spilling over into the creator relationships that they do have. So they are feeling that genuine connection there. And everyone you know who has a friend is asking them for an opinion or recommendation, all of that. We're seeing that spill over to creators on Snapchat as well. So Snapchat creators, people were more likely to say that they were valuing their recommendation compared to the recommendations of creators on other platforms. So again, that relationship of being kind of a friend with the creators on Snapchat is really shining through. Okay, enough about Snapchat. So now we're going to talk about the best practices that we looked at with this study just to provide brands with kind of a roadmap on how they can activate. So in the survey portion of our study, we just wanted to know why exactly people were following creators. What were the reasons that were driving kind of them wanting to be engaged with them? And we were seeing entertainment and authenticity were popping for the reasons why they're just organically following these creators. And something else that was really interesting was we asked them what would capture their attention when it came to brand sponsored creator content. And we were seeing the same reasons popping. So authenticity factors and also entertainment value. So what this is telling us is that brands and creators, when they're collaborating, really need to mirror the reasons why people are following creators in the first place. So getting after that authenticity, getting after that entertainment value, it should really feel like a seamless experience between the organic content that people are looking at with creators and then also the ads that brands and creators are making together. We also wanted to know what people expected from brand-sponsored creator collaborations. Not surprising, they want product demonstrations, they want information about the product. You got to let them know what's going on with what you're selling, but they want it done with a personal touch. So yes, you have to sell product, you have to show your brand, but the creator's personality should also shine through when you're creating these assets. Because again, people want to just know the creators that they know and love, and that should be coming through with the ads as well. This slide, I have to give a huge shout out to iSquare once again. So they looked at the best rated creator ads from the study and just went through to look and see what the different themes were that we could pull out. So again, authenticity, very important. We want to make sure that creators, when they're making ads, they're not exaggerating. You have to mention the brand because again, we have to sell something, but don't beat people over the head with it. So just be really authentic to who you are and make sure that you're talking to the people that are watching your ads. The next one is show and tell. So kind of like what I talked about before, you want to make sure you're demonstrating your product and talking about it. And again, talking about it is really important. So in some creator ads, people are relying just on text overlays, or maybe there's some fun music in the background, but you really need to talk to people and build that relationship with them, just so it can make people feel more connected. And then last and certainly not least is context and environment. So this one was kind of interesting. So think about the product that you're selling and where people might expect to see that. And you have permission to film your ad there. So if you were a sports drink, for an example, you could go to a sporting field and film their content there. And that would feel natural and a place that you would expect to see that. And people would be open to seeing that. The last thing that we looked at in terms of best practices with our study was the tone that people were expecting, and we looked at it across different product categories. So we were seeing electronics. People want a more informative and educational tone from the creators that are making these ads. I think that makes sense. Electronics are a little bit more high consideration. You want to know about the phone or the TV you're buying, what exactly is going on there. When it came to beauty, that was split between casual and conversational. So again, that kind of connection that you're building up, but then also informative and educational as well. I think that makes sense. If you're going to put something on your face, you want to know exactly what's going on with it. So a good balance there. But then food and beverage and fashion and retail, you can definitely lean more on the casual and conversational side. Again, really diving into that idea of building connection with the people who already know and love you as a creator. Okay, so last slide. These are brand implications, everything that we've been talking about throughout. So we did see with this study that collaborating with creators can help drive outcomes throughout the funnel. And we were seeing that again with commerce outcomes. So love the shopping task, helped us prove that out. We also looked at how creators can help boost a brand's image. So including creators in the mix can make a brand come off as more trustworthy, which is really exciting to see. And then again, in terms of our best practices, you want to create content that feels seamless between the reasons why people are following creators naturally, and then what they're expecting to see from your ad. So authenticity and entertainment value should be going for organic, and then also the ads that you're making. And then last but certainly not least, Snapchat. So thinking about the different platforms that you might activate with creators on Snapchat, the creators were coming off as more likable and really feeling like a friend. So again, that connection element is there for the reason why people are using Snapchat and then how they're seeing creators as well. That's all I got.